The streak is finally over. More about that and Josh Berry winning the Cup Series at Las Vegas. Upcoming it is the 645 show coming to you next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the 645. I am Derek Jewett. This is Aaron Baum. He is getting ready for his iRacing NASCAR iRacing Cup Series fixed at Las Vegas Motor Speedway here at a couple an hour or so. But we're gonna review the Cup Series race that just happened literally maybe like 45 minutes ago. Josh Berry gets his first Cup Series win with the Wood Brothers. I think that puts the Wood Brothers at 201 career Cup wins, I think.
Something 01, yeah, either 101 or 201.
It's 201. They got 200 or
Okay.
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen. But yeah, a lot of things going on. Christopher Bell finally loses after winning 3 in a row. But yeah, Aaron, how was your week so far? How was it? How was it going?
It's been all right. Was dodging a little bit of tornado activity in this part of the country. Went to a neighboring town about an hour away to wait out the storms this weekend, listening to your race on Friday, the Cup Series race. Um, and yeah, that's basically all I really did was just kind of hang out this weekend and spend time with my girlfriend and her family and just enjoyed it. Week 13 didn't really have a whole lot to do in terms of iRacing, so we're gonna get our second attempt at the NIS tonight. And that's really all I got, man. How was your week? Or weekend?
Um, we'll talk about my iRacing stuff in a little bit, but other than that, I worked. My head's getting better. I got to go back to the doctor sometime next week to see if I'm finally cleared of my concussion. Um, but yeah, lot to talk about with my iRacing stuff. But yeah, let's do a quick rundown of the Xfinity and the Truck Series, and then we'll get into the Cup Series. Corey Heim scores his second win this year in the Truck Series at Las Vegas.
Time, baby.
Yeah, led 42 laps, showcasing his dominance in the race. Took the lead for good on lap 101, passing Lane Riggs after the final restart, following the fourth and final caution for Jack Wood's accident in turn 4 and lap 93. Grant Enfinger finishes second. The thing I want to talk about, which a lot of people are talking about, is Matt Crafton getting penalized during the red flag. They had a lot of rain during that race, and during the red flag, I can't remember if he got disqualified or he got a penalty. Either way, it significantly impacted his race enough to where he was not a factor at all towards the end of the race, and he was arguing it, and it was plain and simple. During a red flag, you are not supposed to do anything to the car. You can't, if you see a lug nut, slightly loose, you can't go up and turn that just to get it back to where it needs to be. What they did was something happened where they were doing something with Matt Crafton. Somebody lifted up the hood flap, reached in, did some type of adjustment or cleaned something. You're not supposed to do that. Put the hood flap down. Matt Crafton says that did not happen at all, but there was video evidence clearly stating that the hood flap went up, somebody reached their hand into the hood and did something. So he got penalized for that. What did you... obviously, I know you didn't watch it because you were watching my Cup Series race at Vegas for the Mystic Racing League. What do you think of that? Because I know you've probably seen it on social media.
I mean, it's one thing, like, was he just not looking? Like, was he, like, messing with his head, like, and just didn't see it? Because it seemed like he was adamant that it didn't happen, and then it's like, wait a minute, Buster, we got something. I don't know. Anytime there's a flat mess with, I always view it as like a safety thing. So I'm like, okay, like if something safety wise needed to be checked or needed to be tampered with in order to make safe, I'm okay with that. But I'm not sure if you can really give any NASCAR teams an inch. They'll take a mile. Before you know it, there'll be a screw in that flap where you can go in there and screw some extra crossweight out of it or something. Just interesting. Just storylines. Just anything the trucks can do to produce storylines is cool. Growing the truck series is cool. Matt Crafton, you know, is a perennial contender there. He can win almost any week. So it's interesting that you get these fluky violations that you'll probably see come up in a video like 5 years from now, like NASCAR Truck Series weird penalty compilation or something. It's just interesting stuff.
Yeah, and just you would think that with him being a veteran driver, um, you would think that he would be like, it is what it is. Like it's a penalty. However, it really really ruined his day. We're having some technical difficulties. I noticed that your audio wasn't catching up to your camera, so hopefully I fixed that.
Is
If
it better now?
um Now your audio is way off. Okay. All right. I'm just going to have to wing it. See, this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when we do live stuff. Um we're just going to have to wing it. So, moving to the Xfinity series, Justin Allgaier clinches his 26th career Xfinity race win at Las Vegas, edging out Eric Almirola over a 102 lap green flag run to secure the win. Jesse Love would finish third. Austin Hill finishing fourth. Sammy Smith, who started from the pole, would complete the race in fifth. I'm a junior guy. I grew up with cheering on Dale Jr. You cheered on Greg Biffle, and then now you're a Brad Keselowski guy, and I'm a Tyler Reddick guy. So getting to root for Junior Motorsports is really awesome. Especially Connor Zelich. I watched him in the ARCA series all year last year and cheered him on. I was actually friends, still friends with his former crew chief Shane Hoffman, who I raced with on iRacing. I actually got to be in Victory Lane with Connor Zelich, winning that race in at Kansas in the May last year. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, Justin Allgaier winning the Xfinity Series Championship last year. Then he ends up winning this race. He's shown his dominance so far this year, and then finally getting that win. So good for him. Junior Motorsports looking good, though. Sammy Smith finishing fifth. Connor Zelich winning COTA earlier this year. So Junior Motorsports obviously looking like they're Hendrick Motorsports of the Xfinity Series.
And Zilich with another top 10, finishing P9 today or on Saturday. So, and I'm looking through the list and the results here for the Xfinity race, and it points out again, it just echoes the point that Xfinity Series racing is like super
Tight.
pure to what you and me know as racing.
Yeah.
When you look at the top 10 here, you see a star-studded top 10 for the series. You don't see fluky guys. I'm not saying that seeing a Justin Haley in the top 10's fluky, but you know what I mean. Like, there's just that element of like any given day, one of these next gen cars can be in the top 10 that normally isn't. But look at this top 10: Allgaier, stud in the Xfinity Series; Almirola, who's finding his feet in the Xfinity Series and being a perennial contender to win anytime he's in the car; Jesse Love, hot seat right now; Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones. A little bit of that's a good finish for Brandon Jones in the 20. Good for him. Ryan Sieg, P7, interesting right there, but good guy there. Then Harrison Burton, Zilich, Creed, finishing at your top 10. That's a pretty solid top 10. Like 7 to 8 out of those guys are dudes that are up there every single week, and that goes to a testament of like how those cars are, and just how you can race around them, and how it requires a really good team and a really good setup and a really good approach to that racetrack to contend every week. And those guys that are in the top 10 this week are in the top 10 every single week.
Yeah, and I mean, I always loved the Xfinity Series. I think the Cup Series is the Cup Series. You're gonna see, the fluky wins. No offense, I know Chris Buescher's your guy, but his first ever win was the Pocono race where the fog happened and Junior should have won it, but it is what it is. So
2014. When was that?
that was 2015.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah,
It's a decade ago.
yeah, yeah. But you're gonna get fluky wins. We haven't had a fluke win this year so far. Unless you want to count tonight, but I mean, he took the lead from Suarez and ran away from the field.
He did, but that's also a testament to how these cars are. But not taking anything away from that team because it's basically a Penske satellite.
Yeah, yeah,
But a layman would see that as a potential fluky win. There's room for argument.
yeah, yeah. I guess we could talk about the Cup Series race. I'm gonna be honest. I tuned in the first 15 laps. Got my little blankie. Got my dog all snuggled up, and we were watching it. And then I didn't wake up until until stage 2. So I don't really know what happened at stage 1. So Aaron, if you wanna, because you had double screens going on. It looked like you were in the war room.
I think Cindric won stage 1, but I was with you, man. I was up from like 4 this morning. So whenever that Mike Joy, not excited for anything on screen kind of tone hits the room, it's almost like when Snorlax sings in Pokemon, just puts everyone to sleep. But I fought through it. I didn't nap today. I'm pretty sure Cindric won the first stage. There was a couple cautions that were just kind of interesting. A lot of wheel issues, a lot of tire issues. Kyle Busch having a wheel come off or crack or whatever they said with it. Then a couple other wheel issues that later in the day. But stage 1, you can see how these guys just want to get everything on restarts, and how if you're a NASCAR fan, if you see with how the current racing model is, you can essentially be a NASCAR fan by watching a restart, watching the surrounding 8 laps after that, and then go screwing off until the next restart. Because it's just kind of how it goes. Wherever you settle out and shuffle out after a restart, whether you just grow a pair and you yank one down to the bottom and go 4 wide bottom and pass 2 in once, it's kind of hard to pass. And I was watching Brad's in car as you were watching Tyler's in car. Sometimes it's hard to pass, and you have to just build momentum, and it takes laps and laps and laps to do such a thing.
Yeah.
But stage 1 kind of had that Las Vegas kind of feel to it. I mean, nothing super crazy apart from some of the tire issues. Bigger wreck we'll get into later, but just strategy was important today, more than I thought it was going to be. Typically at these tracks, it's just kind of like you kind of are where you are, but there was room for pit strategy. It seemed like handling was an issue amongst everybody. It seemed like a lot of people were getting really tight, and then the track had a big swing in it from what we were hearing. That's all I really got for stage 1. It's kind of a whole lot of just normal stage 1 at Las Vegas type stuff.
I felt like during the runs, because I mean, you had maybe one green flag run, or not one green flag run, one green flag pit stop, and then that caution came out. But with these cars, it seemed like it was just building super tight. There was a couple times that I actually switched through other drivers because Tyler wasn't really doing anything, and they would be lifting. They would go into turn 3, apex, get to the white line, and then they would have to lift and kind of burp it because it would just kept sliding up, and getting that four tire slide of just like I'm gonna go up till the wall if I don't blip it and try to do something. So it seemed like most of the drivers today just had that feeling of just like, I can't get to the bottom, I can't keep it from getting close to the wall. There was a couple times I've seen a couple drivers get into the wall coming off 2 and coming off of 4, mainly 2, which was weird because in iRacing, which we'll get to later, I was having troubles getting off of 4. I never had issues getting off of 2. I had trouble getting off of 4 until I got into the next gen car. I had trouble getting off of 2 and not 4. It was really weird. I don't know what it is up with these next gen cars, man. It is very, very difficult to drive, and especially with somebody that hasn't had much experience driving the next gen cars. it is very very difficult to get a grasp. But I understand that NASCAR wants to save as much money as possible, but you have to give these guys some practice. You can't just rely on the simulator. So, and I want to touch base on that later after hearing some other guys talk about that. But stage two, I woke up. I was kind of refreshed. I was ready to go. My back was kind of hurting from laying in an awkward position for 45 minutes. But yeah, I can't remember who won stage two though.
Let me look it up here.
I think it was yeah, I don't know. I think Logano.
Let's see.
Aaron is.
How fast can we find out? Yeah, Austin Cindric won stage one, so we were right about that. And then yeah, wreck with Shane Van Gisbergen had some issues today. Forgot about that. He
Yeah,
had a couple issues. Not sure, tire going down, something with that car. He had some issues. Also, Christopher Bell having a loose wheel
I was
and then
going.
getting it re-screwed on later down. I
Yeah,
think that's really cool. That is just, I think that's awesome. I see that as just the coolest thing in the world. It's just, oh, there, oh shit, which tire is it left? Okay, whoop. See
yeah,
you, man. Good luck. It's like you still lose spots, but it's cool.
yep.
Um, so let's see. That was back when Reddick was battling there, William Byron for second place. Reddick had a good stage too.
Yeah,
Like he had a really strong showing. And then Kyle Larson is the first repeat
yeah,
stage winner of
yeah.
2025.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was Larson, Byron, and like Reddick, or something like that.
Mhm. It
Yeah,
was obvious the 24 and the 5 had similar stuff
yeah.
today. They were like the only two that were kind of breaking away from people.
It's funny that you bring that up because I was thinking this. Hendrick Motorsports, growing up, you and I have experienced different drivers in different eras of the Hendrick Motorsports, and it always seemed like you either had three or all four drivers look really really good. Like early on, you had the Johnson, Gordon Jr., Casey Kane, and it seemed like like it would be Gordon and Johnson, and sometimes Casey Kane, and then it turned into Johnson, Gordon Jr., and Casey Kane was kind of like iffy, and then now it just like all of a sudden it just looks like Byron and Larson. I mean, Larson's the greatest driver to ever fucking just sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
You're gonna get us
Lar-
canceled, man.
I know Larson. Yeah, Larson is the greatest driver to ever just drink water. That's what everybody just kind of puts out on this earth. And it's funny because actually today I saw a Instagram reel, and it was like people saying Larson's the greatest driver ever, and it's like clips of Larson putting Chase Elliott into the wall at Auto Club, a Homestead where he just spun out by himself, Charlotte where he spun out by himself. Just all these clips of like, is he the greatest driver ever? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, going back to it. Larson and Byron are the two guys on Hendrick Motorsports as of right now that I think are carrying the team. Chase Elliott, besides his fourth place finish at COTA, what has he done this year?
I don't know. Alan Gustafson and those guys just seemingly miss it.
And I don't know
Unless
how you don't have the 48 ride, because Bowman is just Bowman. Like he's never. I almost did it again. He's never
he
around.
did.
He's never
Blowman is what we
around.
call him sometimes. Alex Bowman.
Blowman. Yeah, I'm like,
Um,
and
but we like Alex Bowman because one of his songs from last year on his Spotify Wrapped, his top one was Bad Omens, which maybe because his name is B. Dot, maybe because his name, if you shorten it, Bowman, B. Omen, I don't know. But yeah, like I don't know what's the deal there because when you have the next gen car, which is basically a Lego build it kit, and everyone's pretty hitting on the same kind of thing. Everyone's hitting on the same aero platform. Everyone's hitting the same stuff. It's weird when you have the most popular guy who should have like some of the most, money and research behind him. And it's seemingly that when uh, Chase Elliott like finds it, top five, it's almost lucky. It feels lucky when he hits a top five, and when he runs 12th, 13th, whatever, 14th, it's like, okay, that's about
Average.
right for
Yeah.
him, which is crazy because you have the fastest dude since sliced bread, Kyle Larson, and you have William Byron, that's also the next gen, phenom. So it's like somebody's not sharing something in that camp. I don't know what the deal is there, but yeah, Alex Bowman. Maybe they're trying to get him out of that ride. Maybe I'm sure they're trying their best, but they're not sharing all their information with him. Surely not.
Who do you think if Alex Bowman was to be fired, who do you think would replace him?
Oh, I think they put Zilich in that if they can.
You think so? Because they're. I mean,
I think if they can, I think they will.
I
That's
don't.
as far as I don't know. Either him or maybe Corey Heim, but that's a gamble. I
But
think Corey
Corey,
Heim is
yeah,
with
but
JGR.
yeah, because he's a Toyota guy, and with
Yeah, so it's for
Connor
him to cross
Zelich,
would be a big deal.
it is well known Connor Zelich is going to be replacing somebody or being added to Trackhouse Racing.
Right.
Like,
My thing is does Hendrick buy him out? If depends. It's a long year. It's a long year. If Bowman misses the playoffs, I think Hendrick pulls out of the stops to get somebody like that.
yeah, I don't know, but he wasn't in ARCA for that long, and then now if for instance Bowman's fired this year, then do you take that risk of like because he's only 18.
It's
I don't
the
think
next.
people understand that he's only 18. Like I think he just graduated high school last year. So
I think that plays into his favor, man. I think the quicker you can get a guy into the Cup Series, I think Ty Gibbs is an exception with how bad of a run Ty Gibbs has been having. I think the next gen and where they're moving with this reduced horsepower weird drag package. I'm gonna refer to the next gen car a lot because it's relevant to the matter of at hand, which is I think the younger drivers, the quicker reaction time, twitchier Carson Hosevars, the just Justin Haley, some of those young guys that love to make crazy moves, Gragson, some of these younger guys. I think Zilich obviously he proves he can wheel it. It's just he just needs little more seat time, and I think you can mold him. I think you have a lot of these older drivers. Jimmy Johnson mentioned it at no end. Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Harvick, they got phased out with this car. Like they can't figure out mentally how to make it like work. Whereas you get some of these guys that just point and shoot and just figure out. Especially Zilich, who's used to driving high downforce underbody aero type cars. I think he would do fairly well. I'm not sure if he would win in his first year, but I think he would definitely compete at road course. I think he would definitely figure something out a lot faster than, somebody unlearning old habits.
yeah, and I mean I agree with you. I don't get me wrong. It's like the way I look at it is you don't want to like baseball. You don't want to bring somebody up so quick because they're killing it in the minor leagues, and then who was it? The guy from Baltimore Orioles who like his last name's Holiday, Jackson Holiday, I think it is, who was dominating in the minor leagues and then got brought up to the cup brought up to the majors and he just absolutely blew. I don't know. Being a Connor Zelich fan, I don't want him to be rushed into something. I want him to mold a perfect racecraft and go from there. And if that means he has to turn down a multi-million-dollar contract because he's that good, that I think that just shows like he wants to focus on himself and get to that point. But yeah.
What do you make of that? What do you make of that stable, though? Sorry to cut you off, partner, but what do you make of that stable? You have Byron, Chase Elliott, Zilich, Larson. I mean, that's like unbeatable for the next 8 years.
Well, that's like the Casey Kane, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr. and Jimmy Johnson.
I
That
think
was
Zilich is better than Casey Kane.
I'm not put who do you want me to say? Kyle Busch? Like
I'm just saying. It's just it'd be one of those things where, as a race fan of somebody that's not on Hendrick, I hope to God that doesn't happen
Oh
because
yeah,
I don't want to
obviously
hear Hendrick
I
Motorsports and Victory Lane every week.
I don't like Hendrick Motorsports. Even when Junior was on it, I didn't like Hendrick Motorsports. It was always about Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. Like whoever else was in the car or in the other two cars, they kind of just got like foreshadowed. Unless it was the Daytona races or Talladega races, it was always Junior. But yeah, I mean it was always about Jimmy Johnson. It was always about Jeff Gordon. And even when Gordon retired, it was still about Jeff Gordon. Like, oh, Chase Elliott has to fill big shoes driving the 24. You know, it's just like there's no reason to. I maybe not what I'm trying to say. It's just like with how much history has Hendrick Motorsports have, it is very hard for them to stay in the present and not bring up the future, if that makes sense, if that answers your
Right.
question. um I mean, you don't look at Joe Gibbs and like, oh, you remember when Joey Logano was racing the 20 car, do you? Like it's like everything's reminded, like Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, who else drove for Hendrick, like not Bill Elliott. Who drove the 5? Buddy Baker. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it just like
Harry Labonte.
Terry Labonte. Yeah, it's just like no other team does that. Like who talks about Ryan Newman flipping at Daytona in the 12 car?
Right.
Like
Yeah, Hendrick guys, I mean, to be fair, they had an unbelievably decorated past
yeah,
to draw upon. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. 'Cause watching the 2011 NASCAR season, the whole talk of the town was like, obviously Jimmy Johnson was kicking ass, but like 2005 to 2012-ish, Roush was whooping. Like Roush's intermediate 1.5 program apparently was unheard of. I mean, the pit, just not to take this tangent too long, but pit road reporters would be asking like the drivers of other cars. They'd be saying like, "Oh, who's the car to beat?" And they're like, "Oh, any one of the Roush cars." And back then it was Carl Edwards, Biffle, Matt Kenseth, and David Reagan, and they were awesome. So I was just
David
like,
Reagan.
yeah, I know. It's just interesting back then how certain teams were good at certain types of racetracks. It was
Yeah,
interesting. Now it's just if you're good at all, you're good anywhere.
yeah, yeah, and I there's just it's how that car is built, unfortunately, and um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But as you were talking, Christopher Bell, who has won the past 3 weeks, ended up having pit road issues. I'm not gonna say that ultimately like threw off him winning this race. There was a part where he was sitting like 30th in the race. I think that was maybe after he had to pit again to kind of get the wheel straight. But yeah, not a good day for Christopher Bell after dominating the past 3 weeks and winning. So
He's due for a bad week. But do you think just being a competitor such as yourself, like I'm a competitor too, is there a little bit of like the first real track you go to and you have a bad outing? Is there a little bit of like,
did you listen to my stream?
go ahead, repeat it. I know that there's no real tracks.
There
Or,
is no real tracks. I don't understand what people say by, oh, we're going to a real track. No. No, every track is different. I don't understand. Like, oh, people saying like this is the first like real track that we're going to see. Phoenix, what was wrong with Phoenix?
there's a lot wrong with Phoenix.
What do you mean? It is a
There's a
very
lot.
technical track. There's 3 different corners. One's
Yeah,
flatter,
it's
one's
really
a little
good on
blinker.
Saturdays.
Well, that's because it's a car. But
It's an
it's
awesome
just like
track on Saturday.
I don't understand when people say, "Oh, it's a real track." Okay, okay, is Homestead and Las Vegas the same track?
You know what I mean, Derek. It's not a road course or a short course or a plate track. You know
Okay,
what I
okay. Then
mean.
how about this? How about this? So you want your mile and a half tracks, right?
Sure.
That's what you
Yes.
want. That's what you're. What about Michigan? What about
I
Indy?
love.
That's a 2 mile track. But you can't say that
But it's
they're
normal
real
too.
tracks.
It's we're going back to the Indy Oval this year, right? I'm like semi
Yes.
looking forward to that,
Yeah.
semi not.
What do you mean? Are we going back to the oval track? We've been at the oval track since like 2022.
No, I know. It just I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure. I'm just traumatized from the. We're talking about road courses. I'm just traumatized by road courses, man. NASCAR will
We're
sneak
going
up
to
and put like
Mexico.
that's what I'm saying. NASCAR will sneak up and be like, "Oh, hey, the Arctic Plateau, there's a road course. We're gonna go there, week week 26." So making sure, man.
Yeah. No, I don't understand what people say. Oh, it's a real track. Like every track is different. I mean, I think I think I'm gonna give it 2, maybe 3 more years, and Atlanta is not gonna be a play track. It, the
I hope
way
so.
the way it's driving, like I actually enjoyed watching the Atlanta race this year.
I do
So
too.
I think that track is aging the way it needs to, and it's not going to be as of a plate track or a super speedway race where the draft matters. But man, like nothing gets underneath my skin when somebody says, "Oh, it's a real track." I'm like, what about Phoenix? We're going to
Rain on
Martinsville in
Saturday.
like 2 weeks.
See,
Is that
that's
not a is
a
that
normal
not a
track.
real track?
No. Neither is Bristol. Neither is Iowa. Neither is well,
But
New
Iowa's a
Hampshire.
mile and a
It doesn't count.
half.
Iowa's a mile, or it might be 0.75. Iowa's short.
Mm,
It's
it's
based after Richmond.
we
It's
have to
almost a 1-to-1 of
we
Richmond.
might have to Google that. Google
We'll have to
check
Google
that.
that. Either
But
way.
I mean, I don't know that it just makes my screen crawl. I'm like, dude, like every track is different. Kansas is different from Atlanta. Kansas is different from Charlotte. Texas is different from you know, from fucking Michigan. Sorry, Michigan. Jeez.
I'm gonna find out the running order from last year's Homestead race, and we'll take a prediction of who we think is gonna win or be in
Tyler
our top
Reddick
five. Oh, geez, probably,
in that
probably. He's really good though.
weird looking car. I'm excited.
Yeah. So Tyler Reddick won. Man, this is just
Reddick, Blaney, Hamlin was your
C
top.
Bell.
Seabell was fourth. I can't remember who was
Chase
fifth.
Elliott finished at the top five. So we have Toyota, Ford, Toyota, Chevy. So they went Elliott, Byron, Bowman, fifth, sixth, seventh. Then Allmendinger, eighth, Hocevar, ninth, Priest, 10th. So we'll see, man. It's one of those things. Let's see who Ross Chastain had what a bad one last year. But yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. Money's always on top. Tyler Reddick. They bring a good piece every week. Just a matter
I'm gonna
of
say a
dirty air
Toyota
and
wins. If I'm betting a Toyota is gonna win. I think Bell is good there. Hamlin showed that he was really good there. Reddick, is really good there. Bubba was doing really good until he had some issues too. Um, you know, who else? Who else? I can't remember. Ty Gibbs. No, I don't. I don't. I think Ty Gibbs is gonna finish in the like outside the top 20. Um, but Larson could do it. Byron has one there. Um, Blaney was doing really good. So it this is another track that you can't really put money on anybody. Like today, like everybody thought Christopher Bell was gonna win. Like heading into this race, like the money was on Christopher Bell, but he didn't finish in like I think he finished in the top 10, maybe top 15, but yeah, Kyle Larson, same thing. William Byron, same thing. Who did anybody have the money on Josh Berry?
no way.
Yeah, and
No way.
me and you texted Tyler Reddick. word for word, I have to exploit myself or bleep myself because this is live. But him saying the 21 one that we have to get our together and win these races. So
Strong words
you
from the
could you could
45 team.
you could definitely tell, and it's probably not just the 45. I think the 6 team is probably feeling the same way. Or everybody on RFK is feeling the same way. I think Denny Hamlin's probably thinking the same thing. Like, oh well, congratulations to 21, but dang, like
But how? Like, and he flat out earned it. Like, he flat out was driving his nuts off against Suarez, who put up a great fight. But it was cool to see a battle like that. You know, there was some good
I
racing
don't.
today. I think that's going to be lost in a lot of this, but there was some good racing, some decent passes towards the middle,
Didn't
end
you
of
just
runs.
say, or like literally like 10 minutes ago, that it was a fluke win?
I, when I say fluke win, when I say fluke win, I mean fluke as in they somehow got lucky on the setup. Like that's what I mean. Is like fluke. I'm not saying fluke as Chris Buescher fog or rain shortened, but this car yields a random guy to have a good piece one week. I don't know what it is, but next week Justin Haley could be battling for a win,
I hope
or
not.
Carson Hocevar, or
You
Todd Gilliland, or
take
somebody
that
like
back.
John Hunter Nemechek. Like there's these guys that like can somehow just get it right. I mean, Eric Jones out of nowhere. Like you have these guys that just somehow will do that, and that's what I mean by a fluke win. But I mean the Lord granted Josh Berry a good enough piece to win, and he used every bit of that machine to win. So that was cool. It was cool to see a guy realize that he doesn't have many chances to win in this series and to drive his nuts off, but drive clean and hard. That was awesome to see. Congrats to those guys.
Do you think NASCAR went up to the 99 team and was like, hey, do whatever you need to do to this car to kind of be fast because we kind of owe you one after last week? Um, you know, do whatever you got to do. Because I did not see him winning that race, and then he was in position to win that race.
Yeah. It, I don't know what makes people good one week and good the other. I reckon with this card, you could go to Las Vegas seven days in a row, and you'll have a different top five every single time. Like sometimes people just get it right. You know, they know the track temperature, they know wind off of this turn, they know what to adjust for. I don't know, but sometimes cars just handle better than others. Glad to see a Ford won it. Um, in terms of long run speed, I was watching the six. There was passes to be made throughout the run, which is encouraging to see. I know they brought a softer left side tire this week, same right size as last year, so that was encouraging to see. I didn't really, you can't really get a whole grasp of long run speed when you watch the broadcast, so only speaking from the six perspective. Um, there was such a thing as a long run car. There was such a thing as long run adjustments, which is cool. We're moving in the right direction with something, whether that's the left side tires or something. Um, where you're gonna have comers and goers, like you said, McDowell with short run speed, then it falls off. So all in all, I'm happy with the product. I think the Jeff Gluck Bianchi poll is gonna be pretty favorable for a good race today. And it's cool to see guys battling it out for as long as they did. Typically, you'll see this in a typical Las Vegas race. To me, somehow feels like Kyle Larson winning by 11 seconds, and just the last stage goes kind of green most of the way, and it just gets strung out forever. Boring win where you tune out, who's going to win with 20 minutes to go. And there kind of really wasn't that today, so I'm happy with the on-track product. That was a fun one.
I mean, Josh Berry has been kind of not hit or miss, but he's been up there. I mean, he finished in the top 5 last week at Phoenix. And now here he is winning a race. Do you think this is the only win that Josh Berry's going to have this year? I don't. I think he'll probably win another one. But I wanted to get your thoughts because you're more a betting man than I am.
And see, and I don't know, kind of goes back to the point where they can nail it at Texas, and then you won't hear from them again. Like this car has that ability to where Josh Barrow will run 21st the rest of the year, and then somehow nail a setup for New Hampshire.
maybe
and
maybe
kick
you're
ass in New Hampshire.
maybe you're forgetting. He's a short track guy. Like
Correct, but he hasn't done well previous short tracks.
he's only been in
I've
the
been
Cup Series like 2 years.
uh, that's what I'm saying. Is we'll see. We'll see. I think he'll do well
I think maybe like a
at
Martinsville, maybe a Bristol.
Martinsville, Bristol, maybe a New Hampshire, maybe a Richmond kind of
Richmond,
fits.
yeah, yeah.
Richmond would do
Gateway,
well for Josh Berry. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He's a junior motorsport guy too.
yeah,
iRacing guy.
yeah.
Um,
He was more of a street stock guy, but yeah,
yeah, but we'll see, man. I'm happy for him.
so
He's one of those
was.
guys that I feel like deserves to win.
Yeah,
I feel like he deserves it.
yeah. Uh, Cup Series goes to Homestead next week. I mean, like we said, we can't really put money on anybody, especially there. The High Line's going to be, the go-to. Reddick has shown how to do it. Larson's shown how to do it, unless he spins himself out for some random reason. Um, Blaney, I think, will learn to not give Tyler Reddick the top lane like he did last year. But I think it's going to be a really interesting and fun race because it is a multi-lane groove, but that top is going to be the go-to to make passes and be fast.
Yeah, no doubt. That's an interesting track too, right? Because it was the championship track for a number of years now. It's early in the season. Not a whole lot of data from that track this early in the year in terms of weather and all that kind of stuff and grip levels. So yeah, we'll see, man. You have to figure out how to set up your car to be controllable, but work the high line, different degrees of banking as you go up the racetrack. So you got to figure out how to make your car work anywhere, but especially the momentum base, like you see it today, where you run the outside lane for like 3 laps, and then you'll see a run on the next closest guy in front of you. But it takes a few unhindered laps to build up and maximize that outside lane. So we'll see. We will definitely see. I'm curious to see the tire that Goodyear brings. That'll be interesting if there's another softer left side or even a softer right side. That'll definitely play into the factor of like I'm gonna save at the bottom for a longer and then move to the top. But yeah, guys to beat Reddick, Larson for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just plain and simple, like Goodyear, stop trying to make the left side softer. Just give the guys softer tires. Like, I know we didn't really talk about this last week, but they need to, if they just have to do an option tire, do an option tire. I mean, but I truly think the racing's going to be better if we get these tires softer than what they need to be and what they're using right now. So, that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
So
I completely agree, partner.
yeah. So, is that it that you want to talk about NASCAR before we get into the iRacing stuff?
Well, it's funny you mentioned iRacing because I'm currently signing up for the NIS Fixed, so we can transition on into that. What do you want to start with? Where do you want to go?
Well, we'll talk. You brought it up. The iRacing NASCAR series. I'm doing the same thing as of right now as well, because my Cup Series race for the league was actually pretty decent. So I'm going to sign up here too. I do not like the new registration. How? What the? How? How do I do this? Register. Okay. All right. Whatever. All right. So we're both registered. So I might stream, I might not, I don't know, but Aaron most likely will be streaming. But funny that you talked about iRacing. What's one of the greatest things about iRacing?
What's that?
The paint schemes. Okay. You like paint schemes, right? You like a good
Absolutely
look.
do. I'm actually downloading my non-typical designs cup scheme onto my car right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this show is sponsored by Non-Typical Designs. Both me and Aaron officially are signed by Non-Typical Designs. So Colton Loomis does an amazing job. If you would like what you see on the screen, if you watch my streams, or if you're going to start watching Aaron's streams, you will see non-typical design cars. If you are an iRacer who loves a beautiful car, I believe if you are driving a car that looks good, you're going to drive good. Unless you're me, who consistently gets wrecked. But non-typical design, Colton Loomis does an amazing job. Hit him up on Twitter. You can go to tradingpaints.com, look up Colton Loomis, and get squared away. He does an amazing job with spec maps and recreating cars from the past, which I have a car that I'm dying to show everybody that is my throwback car, but you can't see it yet. Aaron's seeing it. It's amazing. But yeah, go look up non-typical designs on Twitter, or Trading Paints. Get squared away, create something amazing, or just get something replicated. Go tell him that the 645 show sent you, and yeah, go and do that. Get a nice looking paint scheme. So let's talk about your NIS race that happened on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Can I ask real quick, how does one copy and paste the TGA onto that? Because I want to get that squared away before I actually register.
Do you want me to do it? I'll just send you the link.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you want
Okay.
to cut the show for a sec.
No, talk about
Or
your
the live stream. The live stream will
talk about your
we'll have to deal with it.
in NIS,
Yeah.
and I will do
Okay,
it
yeah.
for you.
So we ran the NIS on Wednesday, the fixed. Wasn't really sure what to do. Wanted to run the bottom. Car got like crazy, funky wrecking loose, so I'm kind of worried about that again. Not really sure what to expect here. I know the car builds tight, but when you burn the right front, typically you burn the right rear also in this car. You can't really save one or the other. It's kind of a combo set. So, yeah, we'll see. Trying to keep it clean. Clean air is a big deal, but we think we finished 12th. We didn't qualify. We just stayed kind of in the back and kind of just tried to feel the car out, and cautions ended up falling where they did. Ended up grinding our way to like a P12. So we'll take it if we finish outside of P12. I'm not gonna like really sweat it because that's what registers as my score. My finish for this week is a 12. So we're just kind of not going for broke. Still want to gain I rating no matter what. That's the end goal, is to 5,000. But yeah, hoping for a top 10, if not top 5. This after the show, I'm gonna try to run as much practice as I can. If you guys want to follow me over on Aaron Baum Racing at Twitch and on Twitter, I'll be streaming right at 8 o'clock Central Time as this show's wrapping up. So you see our car there, the non-typical designs Colton Loomis 99 machine.
They don't, but
What a gorgeous machine. It reminds me of this Buffalo Sabres logo from the 90s, which is just beautiful with the red and the trim, silver and black trim. So, yeah, it is most righteous.
There you
go. Okay, sweet.
Just so he knows, I have it to where this screen is being shown 24/7. Aaron's still getting used to podcast, so they did not get to see your paint scheme. I didn't know you wanted me to show your paint scheme.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. We'll see it when they come over to my stream.
So, but yeah, Colton Loomis does an amazing job. So, and like I said, if you look good driving, you're going to feel good. You're going to have that confidence. Let's talk. I did Las Vegas Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the Mystic Racing League. Aaron and Josh was with me Wednesday. Aaron was at work, but was with me in chat on Thursday. Josh was with me on Thursday, and then I don't think anybody was with me on Friday. But yeah, talk briefly. Wednesday, we qualified like P14, something like that. And then no. Where did we qualify? We qualified in the top 5, I think. Anyway, like the reason why I say no is because I took the lead in lap 1. And won both stages. And then we we had a bad pit call. That falls on me and doesn't fall on anybody else. And we went in the back of the pack and we just couldn't pass anybody. These trucks have so much downforce and it's so hard to pass and low horsepower and everything. And if you watch the stream or if you go back and watch the stream, the best way I described how I felt is if I was in a real car, I would have got out, dropped and sit down and have my hands in my face because of how well I did. I led 35 laps of 117. Evan Jenkin led 39. To finish eighth, I'm just like, dang, like I won both stages. I was up front most of the race, and that happened. And Aaron and Josh kind of had to talk me out off a bridge, and then we go into Thursday, qualify 14th, and run third pretty much the entire race. In stage one, I think we finished second in stage one. Stage two, we had to have a green flag pit stop, and I shot myself in the foot and got a speeding penalty. Went 2 laps down, finished like 19th in stage two, was 1 lap down, went and tried to get my lap back and just kept getting involved in everybody else's mess. There was an incident where the 39 was 20 miles an hour slower than I was. I threw it in going into turn one. He came down, adored me, and got mad at me because we were racing for position at the time, and he came up after the stage break, doored me under caution. And then right after that, he runs in the back of me on the restart, damages the car, repair it, go back out, and then we get involved in a couple other wrecks, and it's just very frustrating. I talked to Aaron, I talked to Josh, I talked to Brandon, and I talked to Brandon, the league official as well, 2 different Brandons, and just kind of just like I'm tired of putting in this effort, because me and Aaron actually talked about this, and I'll let him throw in his 2 cents as well because I want to wrap this up so therefore he doesn't miss his race, but the way I felt was everybody's told me I was taking this too seriously. I was practicing every day. I was putting in the work. I was making the social media posts. I was doing everything. And the social media posts, I'm not even worried about. That literally takes me like 30 seconds to make. But the practicing and going in and doing everything I had to do was very frustrating, to put in all that work and get wrecked out. I can't even count how many times that I haven't finished a race. So, Aaron was like, don't quit. Like, you're just in a rough patch. I'm like, man, like, I was, the problem was people were telling me, and Aaron, I'm not talking about Aaron. There's people that's telling me I'm taking this too seriously, don't practice. And then I had other people saying, you don't take it too seriously, you need to practice more. So I was like, I don't know where I need to go. Like, do I went and was practicing every single day, and now I'm only practicing the day of. I'm not touching the track until the day of. So, I don't know what I need to do. So, I sat down, I thought about it. Even at work, I was thinking about it. When I was going to bed, I was thinking about it and everything. I'm a very competitive person. I'm a very competitive and thrilled type guy. Sure, I could have quit the league and went and did officials like Aaron was, kind of, and not like telling me to do, but he's like, maybe you just need to do officials and not worry about league racing. It doesn't satisfy my my competitiveness. It doesn't, I can go win a race and then like an hour later there could be another race. I'm like, oh, well, I could take my chances and win 2 in a row. Or, I got wrecked out. Let's go and, let's just go and race again. Oh, I got wrecked out again. So I like league racing because it's longer. There's more people. You get to race against the same guys most of the time. And it's just like, there's more to kind of, keep my competitive mind to satisfied, I guess, or keep it going. Where it comes to officials, there's points, but I don't race like everybody else who, in 1 week has like 400 points. Like, I think by the end of the season, there's like people that have like almost like 1,600 points or something like that. And I'm like, that is crazy. I'm good. I don't want to do that. So, but yeah, I'll let Aaron talk, and then I'll get into the Cup Series race on Friday, and then what my decision was after that Cup Series race.
Yeah, and just to make it quick, you have to be smart with the car track combinations because you're kind of trying to fight physics a lot of the time. So the truck series, as fun as they are, I would recommend if you're going to do them, don't put any weight in where you finish there because that just like the next gen is luck of the draw. Everyone's super packed up. You're rubbing really close with people. It's very hard to separate yourself. Um, as you saw, you're up towards the front. The car was handling great. You were doing everything perfect. You go back to 10th, 15th place from pit stops or whatever. You're doing everything perfect still, but the car is just slow. So it's kind of hard to overcome that. So what I was trying to tell Derek was, in any aspiring iRacer, with somebody who's been doing this for 7 years now and has kind of figured out the formula on how to maximize your time in whatever department you want, whether it's iRating or whatever. Um, but I would probably say like uh, it's best to not put weight into any like truck fixed race if we're being specific because just how those races are. Um, but if you can identify what a good car track combination would be, such as Xfinity at Darlington or some track where there's a big skill gap, like the separation between first and 10th, like there is a big amount of gap. Um, just be smart with where you spend your time and where you practice, and it will reward you. But Derek's been in a rough patch. I mean, I was watching him drive in the trucks race, and he was doing awesome. I watched him drive in the Xfinity race. He was doing awesome. Everything that I would do behind the wheel, he was doing. The thoughts that he was having about dirty air and the percentages and all these things are the same thoughts I would have. Um, and it's just hard. It is just hard to get good results. You have to do all the little things right, which is easier said than done.
And I'll quickly talk about the Cup race, but to add on to that, because I've told him multiple times, I rather be the last place car and suck all race and finish last than be really good in stage one and stage two, winning both stages and then getting wrecked out every week. I rather be the slowest car and lose every single race than be really good and have everybody notice and the broadcast people notice and everything. Like literally during the Xfinity race, I don't know why I did it to myself, but after speeding, I I went back and listened to the broadcast, and they were talking about me. They were like, Derek Jewett, really fast car, just rotten luck. And then they started talking about stage two where we're gonna have to pit, and like, you don't want to make a penalty, you don't want to get a penalty, you don't want to do this. It's going to ruin your race. And then literally 5 seconds later, Derek Jewett, rough patch continues. He speeds. He has a speeding penalty. I'm like, oh god dang it. Like, I can't catch a break, dude. And I mean, I like I said, I can't blame anybody but myself for the speeding stuff. Like, that's on me. Like, Aaron recommended me something, and I know it works, but like, my brain is so used to, and my body so used to being in fourth gear the entire way into my pit stop, where as soon as I leave my pit stop, I'm still in fourth gear. I'm going to smash it, and then I'll be fine. But because I was like, okay, like, Aaron's telling me to do this, I need to do it. Like, he's smarter, entering perfect, get into my pit box perfect, and I'm still in first gear, and my mind is still thinking I'm in fourth, and I just smash it, and by the time I leave my box, I'm already speeding, and it's just like, I can't. I gotta get back into like the learning phase. Cup, it was a wreck fest. It was a caution fest. I think I qualified like ninth or something. Won stage one off of strategy. And because of that strategy, I fell back in stage two, and just again getting caught up in wrecks. Was slowly climbing back up, and then the 16 and the 10 were we were three wide, and the 16 got into the 10, and the 10 kind of wiggled and left hooked me into my race. Um, and I will say this, just because of it's already out there. I went and after the race wrecked the 10. I did not look at the time what happened. I went and right hooked the 10 after the race. I don't know if there is going to be a penalty. If there is a penalty, I don't know. I assume I'm not being suspended because Brandon said, "Hey, look, keep your chin up. You'll get them next week at Bristol." So I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. I'm surely I'm expecting a penalty. I'm expecting a suspension, something, just because of that. Me and the 10 talked, and he was like, "Listen, like I didn't want to get into you," and I was like, "We had a civil conversation. Like me and him actually had a civil conversation. We didn't yell at each other. We didn't raise our voice." I was like, "Dude, like that's twice you've wrecked me. That's twice you've ended my race." And he's like, Atlanta was his fault tonight. We were three wide. I didn't think we were three wide, but surely we were. And I'm just like, that's two times now. And he's like, "Listen, man, like everybody knows that you've been wrecked every race. So like, I do not want to continue to wreck you. So just keep that in mind." I'm like, I got all these people telling me that they don't want to wreck me, but they still wreck me. Like, I'm just like, So, but I made a statement, put that on my social media. Like I said, I talked to Aaron, me and him. I don't want to say we argued, but I'm not going to say we had a nice conversation. But
Constructive.
yeah, so me and him talked, and and me and Josh talked a little bit too, and some of my sponsors, and they're like, "Listen, we understand that why you feel the way you feel, but at the end of the day, like your decision is your decision. We will support you." And I just was like, "Man, like surely I won't have bad luck the entire year, right?" Like, hopefully, knock on wood. Like, I don't know. Like I've been saying, I don't know how much more I could take. Like I've been wrecked like almost every single race, and it's kind of, and like to people that are now getting into this show and don't really follow me and Aaron as much. I race 2 to 3 series a week, and that we're on week 6 or 7 now, so that's like 21 races where I haven't finished. So it's kind of
Getting blue balls.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, dude, like I've won poles, I've won stages. I've not finished in the top 5 this year. So I've got a couple top 10s, but it's just like, man, like when is it gonna come? So I appreciate everybody reaching out, and everybody I talk to. I appreciate Aaron, being that big brother, even though he's 10 years younger than me and looks more handsomer than me. Kind of just like, hey, like, what would Tyler Reddick do? Look at Brad Keselowski right now. He's sitting in last place at points. Do you think?
Hey.
That's what you said, though.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but I'm not giving up. I'm gonna race the remainder of the season, no matter how crappy it is. I'm hoping that I can turn this luck around and go from there. So, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? We got 7 minutes before you race.
I don't really have a whole lot. If you want to keep following us, just keep going to Twitch and follow us at Airbomb Racing and at Derek Jewett too. And watch us attempt this 8 o'clock NIS fixed. My prediction for this is going to be a wreck fest. I think people are going to wreck. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to start towards the back if I can.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get caught up towards the front and get caught up in some weird next-gen aero wreck and kill 5 cars along with myself.
Yeah. And now you don't know where I'm staring. So, yeah, go follow.
Reading his thoughts.
Dale Jr. quote of the year. Yeah. So go follow Aaron. Go follow us. Or go follow me. Follow the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. We're not on Apple. Apple's being very, very difficult to post a podcast, rather if it's a video or audio. because I tried both. But we appreciate everybody tuning in. We appreciate everybody giving us feedback. We had a bunch of people from the league watch it and give us feedback, so I appreciate that. Now that we're caught up, we're going to continue to do this. I know a lot of people were like, why are you even talking about Daytona? That happened like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm like, we had to talk about all the NASCAR. Now we're caught up. Okay, just give us a break. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate Non-Typical Designs and everybody tuning in. So Aaron and I are going to work towards building a Twitter and going from there. So therefore you can see these funny clips and everything. So and go from there. So we're just two goofy guys from Florida trying to talk our thoughts, but yet don't want anybody to read our thoughts.
No one reading our thoughts.
So, but go follow him. I don't know if I'm going to stream tonight. I'll probably not. I just want to focus on racing. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you Non-Typical Designs. As always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and we'll see you in the next one. Follow us on Spotify and YouTube. We are out.